Of all the reptilian extraterrestrial races I'm familiar with and connected with, the Theta Tauri race, the white reptilians, are the most dominant, proud, strict, and exceptionally powerful race, extremely tough both militarily and mentally speaking, of all the reptilians that I'm familiar with. War type of race is what they are, and they don't go out of their way to create a problem or start a war, but if they're provoked for even 1 second by any race, by any reptilian race, they will make their presence known heavily, immediately, with the heaviest and extreme most consequences, considering that their own vibrational spectrum, their vibrational spectrum of malevolency level can reach around 85 to even 90%, so quite high from a human perspective. They're not really involved on Earth much, or with human affairs, or our shady, corrupt governments, or secret governments. They don't get involved that often with humans, period, as they see humans that are filled with fear, so they don't bother with that. But I've been very fortunate to connect to this race many times, communicated multiple times, and established my own brotherly type of friendship. And the Theta Tauri male entity that I connect with regularly is a high-ranking general within their army. He drops down that malevolency significantly with me, and is always brutally honest and truthful and very blunt, without any filters or lies or deception, any kind of manipulation or shape-shifting or gimmicks or tricks. Exceptionally truthful and to the point. And he often expresses that their race has no reason to lie or manipulate, because that shows weakness. They are not afraid or scared of anyone, so they always speak the truth, blunt truth. And they also don't care about what any humanity, what our governments, what other reptilian races, what any surrounding races even think of them. The Theta Tauri white reptilians are gigantic in size. They are close to 9 feet. They are a 5th density race. There's 100 billion population. And if looking at the Cosmos map, or the map available on our internet, they're located very close to the Epsilon Tauri or the Delta Tauri and Gamma Tauri area, so within the constellation of Taurus. And more specifically, they are located behind the 2 main brightest stars. So there's 2 stars, Theta 1 and Theta 2. They're located within the Theta 1 area. So there is a small star there, or medium size there, and that's where they live within their own peaceful society. But our primitive lenses or photography is not going to be able to produce that image on our internet. They're called white reptilians because their skin is pure white. They're absolutely white, just like our snow, like polar bears, except one part, the eyes. And the eyes are bright red, in some cases bright orange, but mainly red with vertical pupils. And they are on average 400 pounds. They're 9 foot tall. They have no wings because they're not ancient reptilian race. They have 64 teeth. They have much larger eyes, so 2.5 times the size of our eyes. Colossal in size. And they don't belong to any empires or federations. They don't believe in micromanagement. They're not really a race that someone would be able to even tell them what to do or micromanage them. They're an extremely proud race, very independent race. They don't ask for permissions, they don't ask for permits, they don't care what anyone thinks. They're completely an extraordinarily proud race with honor, with their own principles, with their own cultural principles, with very, very strict principles that were carefully explained to me in detail, from the way that they reproduce, what they think of their own children or of their own women, what they think of the elderly and the council's decisions, war tactics, military tactics, technologies, conflicts or provocations, how they deal with threats, how they deal with lies and deception, what they think of fear in general, but also what they think of human fear, human weaknesses, human resistances, including judgment. Overall, the honor or pride levels of humans, because honor to them is everything. The honor to them is number one. It's embedded in them. And on their planet, there are no other races that are even allowed to live, as they call their land, sacred ground. But they do allow an occasional visitor if they go through rigorous checks and verifications, but that visitor cannot stay a long time. It's a temporary diplomatic type of visit. The surrounding planets, such as Gamma Tauri or Delta Tauri, do not have any reptilian races. The Theta Tauri is the only planetary consciousness in that region that holds specific DNA configuration that is of their own genetic reptilian ancestors. And their crafts are absolutely massive. They range from smaller crafts, which would be equivalent to our towns, size of our towns, the larger crafts, which are equivalent to complete large city areas, including provinces or states. So gigantic craft. In a series of years of expanding my own consciousness and getting to know my galactic counterparts, my star family, DNA memories, my soul origin, a lot of different counterparts within the universe, the advice that I was given over the years was quite useful, profound. It changed my entire life, of course. And anyone going through the awakening could probably say the same thing. And I've agreed with a lot of different topics, but the topics of the Theta Tauris, their opinions of the Theta Tauris, explanations, views, I completely agree with, deeply resonate with. They hate corruption, they hate hypocrisy, they hate unfairness, they hate fear. They hate this entire weak energy on Earth at 2020 or 2021. I mean, their explanations about bravery versus pride versus fear or courage is just incredible. I strongly agree and resonate with their opinion, as their opinions are certainly a replica of my opinions, a complete reflection of my own opinions. And their opinions, yes, can come across as very malevolent, rude, ruthless, strict, too strict, but their information is extremely truthful, deep. And their truth destroys a lot of illusion that people live. Their truth resonates with me to my core, and with each communication, especially when they explain the disgust they have for our own human corruption, absolutely agree. Their dislike for political and global lies that we deal here on Earth, I absolutely agree. I mean, who wouldn't? They disagree with the overall weak, passive energy that's on Earth. Again, completely agree. They should be teaching at all the colleges and universities, churches and temples across these fake religion institutions to toughen up the current generation, to toughen up all of our future generations. And a lot of these fake spiritual gurus online, love light, unicorns, and rainbows. Another heavily important to them is never really showing fear. Not showing fear, but also not holding the frequency of fear. They don't respect fear in any way. They don't respect anyone with fear. They don't like fear, period. They find it disgusting, they find it sickening, they see it as a lowest possible form of weakness, and as they say, humans are full of fear, which is completely true. Hence why they don't like a lot of humans. They dislike most humans. And I've always had a major problem, even with humans who have a lot of fear. I found them weak myself, but also those that promote fear, the fear-mongering propaganda we see in our society today, scaring innocent people away. I've done a video on fear, and Theta's opinions contributed towards that video, and they're absolutely correct. Fear is a disease. It's a sickening disease that many humans have. It's a program that must be uninstalled. Collectively, they are extremely proud of their own survival, as they had to go through a lot of different things to get to where they are. They're still incarnated, so they have to carve out their own survival and path, and from every action, from every war, from every attack, from every event, every experience, the energy of that experience, from every part of their own mentality, consciousness, and then the expression of that consciousness has led them to the current survival and the existence of within the fifth density, and rightfully so. They deserved it. Second most important thing with the Theta is pride. Extremely proud race. Very, very proud. Extraordinarily proud race. And they don't like to use that term lightly. They say that pride only comes from deserving actions. So this race, their actions, quite deserving, quite worthy. They learn very quickly. They don't make a lot of mistakes, but when they do, they learn from it. They remove all that's negative. They remove all that's not really useful or beneficial for their society and their culture. They incorporate only what's the best, what's the most effective, what's the most beneficial for their people. And in my own overall experiences and communication with reptilians in general, ranging from benevolent, neutral, malevolent, semi-malevolent, semi-benevolent, earth-based, hybrid races, ancient reptilians, draconians, I've learned that different reptilian races deal with anger completely differently. Hostility, anger, rage, they all deal with it differently, in their own way. And most of the reptilians, yes, they go to the anger first. It's just the way they're made. But not Thetas. The Theta Tauri are quite collected, calm, very disciplined, extremely confident and concentrated. They don't panic, they don't get scared, they don't feel fear. They just don't care about any of these distractions. They are always ready, quite dangerous if need be. A complete war type of race. They explain that one of their own pride points is inside survival. Inside where pride comes from is a responsibility, and also comes a level-headedness that reptilians generally do not hold, as they'll turn to anger, hostility too quickly, too fast, almost instantly. And most reptilians are too quick to judge. They're too quick to attack. They're hot-tempered in a way that can cost another race or another being their life, or a war, or significant interference, or energy interference, or an abduction. Because the temperament of many reptilian passes the boiling point of anger very, very quickly, and sometimes even instantly. But with the Theta Tauri, they're so disciplined and confident and calm and trained. They never show any fear. They never show any kind of anger, hostility, but they definitely do not panic. They don't show any kind of interference. They don't interfere with anybody. They don't have anger issues. They're not the bully type, but they're also not someone that anyone can bully. They will not tolerate that. They will, for 1 second, as I was explained, if they felt that, they would react instantly. And I've learned that the notion of honor varies greatly from one reptilian race to another reptilian race. I've gotten to know many over the years, but the Theta Tauri race is embedded with honor. It is in their DNA. It's been in their DNA since the creation of that race. They are a very ceremonial and honorable type of race, and honor is not something that Earth reptilian race or the 4 density reptilians here would even know. It's something they need to learn. The Theta Tauri race, in my personal opinion, are the most confident, most bravest, strictest, honorable reptilian race with tremendous amount of pride that I've ever come across. They also believe in respect, and to give those respect who truly earn it, who truly deserve it. And with them, it's extremely difficult to gain their respect and trust as well. But the Theta Tauri race, currently as of today, do not have any active planetary wars. They actually live in harmony within their society, within their planet. And I think it would be a suicide mission for any race, or reptilians especially, to attack the Thetas. It would not work out well. No way. The way they reproduce is very similar to other reptilian races, quite different the way we humans reproduce, right? So the way they reproduce isn't really just standard sex. A male has a sex with a female, and the sperm is in eggs and things of that sort, because their organs are much different, they're much bigger, they're much different than ours. For example, they have 2 hearts, one under each armpit. But there is an assertion of their own portion of masculine body, part into the feminine body part, of course, but the genetic coding is then released. And the female being, as she receives this coding, then takes the packaging of the DNA genetics to mix with her own egg, and dynamically, physically, and also biologically, this is much different than us. It's not the same. But the package itself then goes to the outer layer of the feminine egg, and then tells the genetics to internally what to change things. Anything that's negative, anything that's bad, if there could be a deficiency. So once the mixture occurs, the body then starts developing, and at that time the eggs are moved from the body or out of the body into a dwelling or into a house or on a craft very often. And once this is done, the egg becomes full, and the egg hatches at that time, or as we would say, break open, and the birth occurs. But the birth occurs with no deficiencies. The baby or the product is born perfect. They have awakened, certainly over the years, a variety of different layers and levels of my own reptilian energy, and all humans have reptilian DNA and reptilian brain. That's a fact, but it needs to be awakened. But the DNA itself that's within all of us is part reptilian, so someone needs to awaken that. And those who gravitate towards reptilian energy, who understand reptilian energy, will certainly appreciate it. But their energy has certainly helped me in the astral, in the dream states, out of body, including human walking life, so 3rd density life, and on many different occasions. They have both directly and indirectly intervened in my own astral and dream states to provide me with their energy, certain technologies, as well as their help to deal with some unwelcomed fake avatar projections by cowardly entities who use technology to hijack human dreams, and some also who just project fake avatars to be of someone else. So instead of appearing as a reptilian, they would appear as a police officer, let's say, to intimidate. But those problems were dealt very effectively, very efficiently, very quick, and these problems never came back. Another thing I've observed in the Theta race is their strong desire for humans who have fear, who always worry, who are very passive and submissive, with anxieties and phobias and so many worries and overanalyzing, as well as those humans who have arrogant egos, as Thetas call it, inflated ego personalities, or sheep following orders, the 2 sentences they quite often use. And there's definitely a lot of fakeness, pretentiousness, arrogance, corruption, and deception on Earth going on right now, especially on social media and in the political aspect, the global situation itself. And standing along the side with the Theta Tauri friends in common frequency and element and common respect and understanding, with truthfulness, with bravery and honor and pride, with no fear, it certainly matched deeply my own energy signature, my own views, my mindset, my own human personality, and many different characteristics or even competencies. But more importantly, it is an honor to stand along an extraterrestrial being who is a true warrior, who does not care for fear or intimidation, who has no respect for fear or any scare tactics, who laughs at any form of intimidation. More humans should be this way. Another reason why we've connected so well, I think it's also due to my own unfortunate traumatic immigration process around Central Europe, being tossed around Central Europe in the early 90s due to an illegal and bloody genocide type of war that our family comes from in the Eastern Europe. So the atrocities, the war type of situations, the agony, the genocides, the murders, the rapes, the kidnappings, the corruptions, the poverty, the unfairness overall, because war is a disgusting thing to experience. And all these things have only just hardened me as a child, as a youth, as a member of a youth. But I also was raised by a very tough group of military type of men, very struck, tough, honorable military type of men in the family, so true leaders. And the events itself, between the age 20 and 30, and now I'm in my 40s, so disciplines and trainings, and I'm in my early 40s now, so I've had 25 years in the MMA and in the environments of close protection industry. So all of these things I've seen and compared it to their own upbringing, so the toughness, their experiences and my own experiences have really been very, very similar. And I've seen so much of similar type of upbringing and mentality in the Thetas compared to the mentality of the upbringing of our own and our own family and our own background, our people in our culture. So obviously we have so much more in common than I ever thought I ever would with a reptilian. And they have expressed a lot of different similarities that they feel that they have with me and my type of personality, particularly my DNA. So the energy, the fear levels, the bravery levels in the astral and so forth. So we got along pretty great, but the elimination of fear is something that Thetas have perfected. And somehow they incorporated mass amount of bravery and confidence and pride. And Astrally, I feel, is always an ultimate test for any human to test their own fear levels or bravery levels, whether a human is meeting his own star family or hybrid family or an angel or extraterrestrial as an attack or an abduction or genetic extraction, so DNA extraction or even craft experiences. But I can definitely assure any human that facing a 400-pound, 9-foot-tall white reptilian, 64 teeth, terrifying physical appearances, long claws, massive head with 2.5 times the eyes of human eyes, that'll definitely test anyone's fear levels, particularly their bright red LED glowing eyes. And most humans are petrified of the Thetas in the astral, and I mean, rightfully so. They're a pretty big being for anyone's psyche to process. Theta Tauris are extremely calm on the other way, and they're quite calculated. They're on the opposite side. They're not just malevolent or dangerous race. They're quite calm, very confident, very peaceful. They're very precise and razor sharp in their own decisions. They're very selective with certain words that they use, or statements particularly. Remarkably confident when they do speak. They're very powerful. Their energy is extremely powerful. They are fearless warriors. Similar on Earth, we would compare it to the brave men and women that go to Iraq and Afghanistan and fight like 6, 7, 8 consecutive tours. They go back and forth, voluntarily tours. So I'd compare the Thetas to these brave men and women that we have here on Earth. The army. The Thetas' words carry immense level of strong confidence and tremendous amount of energy, and their consciousness is so powerful. It is too powerful for a human to even incorporate and dissect. Their answers, their descriptions, their opinions, including analyzing probabilities and possibilities, are so well calculated, very blunt, without any filtering or beating around the bush. In addition, they do not really show an overly amount of kindness or love or politeness to any stranger race, to any humans, very, very rarely. However, I'm fortunate to have had such a strong relationship and friendship with them, and where we see eye to eye, and we've incorporated both of our energies, and it was a really good match, especially in the astral and the dream states, and connection in other ways and other methods. And definitely, certainly I've seen their power in confronting entities and energies and other races in the astral. They're extremely powerful and dominant. And within their society, there's a variety of different war type of or military type of layers, and the entity that I speak with is a general within their own planetary defense system. He's in charge of surveillance, reconnaissance, counter-surveillance, communication, technologies, crafts, but the entire army. So an individual or a being, this energy, is so familiar with military type of terms, it's quite enjoyable to listen to him. But many interesting stories he's told me over the years, including the one that Thetas did come to Earth. They did land physically 600 years ago in the area in Chile, in the northern mountain area, to contact a tribe who lived there, and to see if it's worth speaking to them, if it's energetically worth to speak to this tribe. But they were wrong. So when they landed their crafts, there's numerous crafts on ground without cloaking, so visible crafts. The inhabitants of this central Chile immediately attacked Thetas and immediately attacked their crafts with their primitive wooden weapons, but that didn't go well. And the Thetas have not returned to Earth since, and I don't think they're planning to ever return. I always laugh also at the ignorant comments by low vibrational, primitive, third density, conditioned humans who constantly repeat the same propaganda over and over, that all reptilians are bad and evil and they eat children and babies and kidnap and blah, blah, blah. But that's just nonsense, foolishness, like saying all humans are evil. I've interacted with many benevolent and neutral reptilians. No problems. Humans are just not brave enough to face the reptilians and deal with such strong frequency, more specifically to experience that powerful reptilian energy, or to face them face to face in the astral, regardless of the reptilian race or the draconian race. I see these humans being so afraid and scared of any extraterrestrial entity, any angelic entity, any energy that has to do with reptilians, as they're generally very scared in their own spiritual journey, as they only chase love, light, unicorns, and rainbows. They don't want any conflicts with anyone and any being and any race. They want to ascend to 5D. They haven't even perfected grounding yet, or astral yet. These humans are often brainwashed by man-made fake religions or fake spiritual gurus, but spiritual people must get to know both love and dark, to toughen themselves up, to be ready, to be prepared, not be insecure, not feeling fear, not feeling any inner fear or any resistances. Fear must be uninstalled. Humans must understand their own human DNA is not just the DNA of a banana. It is a multidimensional, immortal DNA. We have infinite consciousness. We connect to our galactic guides in the astral every single night. We go on crafts. We have galactic interventions. Those are the things that humans need to understand. And yes, we do interact with reptilians quite often. There's nothing malevolent in the astral. Astral is absolutely great. Theta Tauris have fully expressed that the current 2021 or even last year's 2020 energy on Earth feels and felt very weak to them, very passive, very submissive, low and sad, with much fear and scare tactics, fear-mongering, panic, confusion. They're absolutely correct. They've explained crystal clear how they see only two types of humans on Earth, the 99% and then the 1%. So the majority of the humans they see, they do not have any respect for. They don't like these humans, the 99%, because these humans disgust them. They hold fear. The other humans that they have respect for is the 1%, the ones that simply do not care for fear. They've expressed that respect they do have for those humans who are strong enough to think in their own path, that are strong enough to stand up for themselves, to have a backbone, they have their own identity. They respect those humans who are not pretentious, arrogant, or cocky, or even presumptuous, or egotistic, or narcissistic, addicted to attention, or worried what other people think. They hate those humans. They respect those humans who are bold and brave and blunt and direct, truthful and fearless and courageous and self-sufficient with self-esteem, grateful in life, self-reliant. Humans that are proud of their own identity. They also respect those that are brave enough to face them in the astral. They've expressed that they monitor Earth from time to time, and they do know that humans strive for greatness. But often they fail, and they get discouraged due to their own disempowerment, anxiety, fear, phobias, peer pressure, or even greed or selfishness. They've expressed that many humans believe that they must be loved or liked by others, or otherwise they are not good enough. They disagree with that, of course. You don't have to prove anything to anybody, especially not to the fake society we live in. They also say that humans think that they have to be successful or rich or famous in the center of the attention in order to be liked or approved by others, by random strangers, complete strangers, or friends. This is nonsense to the Thetas. This is drama and primitiveness to the Thetas. And we see this clearly today all around our society, TV and social media, especially with fake social media influencers. So much fakeness. Fakeness is a popular thing these days on Earth. If people have given up their own individuality and originality and authenticity for fame and materialistic junk and fake likes. Again, Theta Tauris are absolutely correct. Thetas are correct on a lot of different things, especially on the topics of fakeness, greed, selfishness, hypocrisy, ego, arrogance, and on fear. They don't respect any of these things. Thetas dislike so much about humans and about Earth only because of the general human weaknesses and resistances, such as being passive and fear and ego, judgment, submissive, fearful, afraid, scared. And I quite agree. It sickens me too. Getting to know the Thetas in this personal, direct, intimate way has been an honor. Their education and their teachings, their wisdom, their advice, their energy, including transmissions and conversations, but particularly advice given to me by the councils, by the elderly, has been absolutely profound, extremely beneficial. Their counsels are so wise, filled with wisdom, history of the galaxy, history of the Earth, tremendous amount of wisdom. And in my opinion, I can proudly say that the Theta Tauri race are a dear and great friend of mine.